Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 29th Annual Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live on Facebook from Yavapai College. Yavapai College is one of our sponsors, along with Northern Arizona Healthcare, Golden Sign Gallery, BMO Bank, and the City of Sedona. And we'd like to thank all our hoteliers, restaurateurs, volunteers, and everybody who has supported the film festival this year. We are extremely grateful. It was for the film Lucid, and that's where I was extremely impressed with Adam, because you pulled a coup on the whole entire
This time, right? I kept my condition private during the production of Lucid, so the cast, the crew, everybody, almost everybody involved had no idea that I was registered blind, and still am.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, and also now you're performing. You've also, I think I just read that you did some stunt scenes with, was it Jason?
Well, they weren't with Jason, but it was on C, the Apple show starring Jason Momoa, yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us about that. I mean, I'm just fascinated by you.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had a little bit of a mini stunt in this one, right, with Gary. No spoilers, sorry, actually, but I've got to be careful what I say in case people want to look forward to seeing it themselves. But no, on C it was horse riding, sword fighting, fight sequences, and I was, very adamant that I wanted to immerse myself into that and go full throttle to, break those boundaries, because you don't think of, I mean, I can't name any other people, or there aren't any obvious reference points for blind action stars out there, so I said, you know what, I'm going to be the first.
This is what I love about you. And I think it was the first director that, if I'm not mistaken, during that time, because that was the other film, and this one, you're actually acting in the film.
Yeah, in front of the camera this time, and very blessed to have an incredible talent like Julia behind the camera guiding me and directing me.
And Julia, since this is your, I don't know if you've done other films with Adam, but I know you've done, at least this is your second one.
It's my directorial debut.
Okay.
So before I was producing it, now I'm in different role behind the camera.
And what's it like working with Adam?
Pleasure, very easy. That's the thing. Before we started to work together, we were friends. And then we decided that we are so alike and we see the world, for the same lens. So we decided to join our powers, and we have 2 production companies together. We're developing lots of projects together. So the time I directed him, we were already business partners and best friends. So it was very easy. It's actually how it all started. I wanted Adam to have a show reel. To show his, acting skills, because he's a great actor. And, when you're in a big show, you're at the mercy of the show and you do what, you get the part and you act. Whereas here I said, let's, customize the part from you. And I looked at him, I was like, I really see you as a convict. And he's like, oh, actually, I have a script, about prison dramas, like, give it to me. So I read it, and I said, okay, I'm directing it, you're gonna act in it. We did little changes, and boom.
Yeah. I have to say, like Julia said, on C, such an honor to be a part of that show, even though I was a small part. On this, having a role like this one, playing a character like Max, obviously there's a lot more preparation needed, a lot more responsibility on delivering something impactful, and I owe a lot really to Julia's direction on this. And I have to say, although I've done a few things as an actor now on film, this was the first time that I really had strong performance direction, and I think that comes from Julia having the understanding of being an actor herself as well, and so that was really helpful.
We do it all. In front of the camera, in the back of the camera, from the side of the camera. Just give us the script and we'll produce it for you.
Well, it sounds like you even have that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Adam, what was it like? I mean, you played a convict in this particular film, and You know, the other thing too, we were just talking about mental health and suppression, and I was doing some research on the film itself, and I know like one of the messages in the film was is to communicate. Communication is completely important, especially like if you're depressed or if you have some of these issues. So talk to me a little bit about that role. How did you perform in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're both really passionate about, right? You know, making sure that people are, you know, in a place where they can be open to feeling their feelings and sharing whatever they're feeling. Because when when you're in a low frequency state, vibrational frequency, and you are stressed, or you have any negativity inside yourself, when you hold that in, that's how you get sick. Physically sick or mentally sick, and so we were, I mean, I appreciate, Julia saying this was, to be a showcase of myself as an actor, and it's turned out to be a great showcase for her as a director. But more than anything, the first conversations were always about trying to create a social impact with this film and raise awareness of mental health and continue this conversation that is, well underway globally and has been for some time now, trying to get people talking more about mental health. And so with the character of Max, I used, I took inspiration from other characters, iconic kind of movies that had inspired me, and it's funny because some of the reviews that have come in have referenced like Silence of the Lambs or Primal Fear, and they're on the money because these were the films that we were watching while we were preparing, kind of getting in the atmosphere of what we wanted to create. And so, I had one day of filming to do my scenes on this, and I stayed in character the whole day. And
he was actually scaring the crew. It's like, Julia, can you please talk to him? We're trying to put the handcuffs on him, but he's scaring us. I was like, Adam, don't scare the crew. Take out the character for a second from your mind. Yeah, he was like, and he looked quite scary and intimidating with the suit and everything. His mom is traumatized. She watched the film and was like, Adam, I'm having nightmares of it right now.
Which is a compliment, because
Yeah.
of course that was the intention, was to disturb people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You did a good job disturbing people.
Was it easy, hard for you to get into the role, and easy or hard to get out of the role?
It was fairly easy to do both, to be honest, because I had, I wrote the screenplay, so I knew that I was getting myself into something where I'd already had a good understanding of the character and sort of prepared it on the page to a certain degree. And like I said, I was only shooting for one day doing my scenes, so a night's sleep and shaking some of those thoughts and stuff out of my head, and then Max is gone.
Thank goodness.
That's what his mom said.
Thank goodness Max is gone.
Yeah.
But even in coming up with the character itself, or writing the film, did you have to? And I know you said you've watched the 2 films, but delving into research and actually trying to get into the mind of that particular person. I mean, sometimes it's really frightening when you some things that you may have uncovered. So was there anything that maybe you uncovered that?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm playing a character that's taken somebody's life in cold blood and murdered somebody. So for me, it's really hard to
Connect.
But yeah.
Exactly.
First of all,
He's a good person in normal life, I promise.
Yeah, relating.
Sweet Adam.
Relating to that is one thing, but then when you're doing your work as an actor and you're trying to build a character from the inside and have justification for their actions for yourself when you are them, and so justifying that, it was a little tricky. But then when you're falling back on the whole thing of Max's faith being his motivator, really acting in what he believes is God's will, and being a vessel for those despicable things, it's something that you can at least work with that, because if there's anything that you can hook into if it's a divine purpose, right? You know, as wrong as, you know, it clearly is, you know, what he's done. But this is the thing, you know, as Gary Beadle's character assesses, he's you know, he's deranged and probably needs to be locked up for a long time, if not forever, you know, unfit for society. But
ironically, he actually helps the therapist. He pushes the button and makes therapist to, you know, release his demons and release his frustration, because it's actually not says in, like, you can't see it on the screen, but the story of the character that he and his wife lost son to drug, and it was just a silly argument, and he said to son, get out. That's what I gave to my actor anyway, the pre-story to prepare him to character. And yeah, and next day he was found dead. So he blames himself, the doctor Barnes, you know, that it's his fault, that he could have saved his son's life. And he can't communicate with his wife because he feels guilty. But she's all open with her grief. She's drinking, she's taking medication, she's depressed, and he looks like nothing wrong. And that's why there is no communication, and they're completely disconnected. And she feels left out and alone in the situation, and he's as well alone, eating himself from inside. So that's why is the main message of the film, that it's always good to communicate, to share, you know. But it also teaches people compassion, to also don't expect from people to react in certain situations the same way as you do. So the wife's character, Sarah, she's all out and she shows it, and he can't show it, he's closed down. So this is his way, and you also need to be able to understand that all people, you know, react
everyone's
differently.
different.
Yeah, to grief.
Yeah, and how was it for your first directorial debut? How was that?
It was easy. I'm ready for the next one. Honestly, I wanted to do it since I was 12 years old, but I grew up in Ukraine, Odessa. There was no film schools, no like anything I can do, so I had to wait until I grew up, make money, you know, move myself into another country so I can study filmmaking. And yeah, I was waiting for this all my life, and I'm very happy.
She was definitely ready.
Yeah.
You know, when we were there on set.
Everybody was like on set, yeah.
Yeah, people, you know.
Are you alright?
No, but people were coming up to me going, Julia looks like she knows what she's doing. I was like, that's because she does. She knows exactly what she's doing.
People, for sure.
You know, yeah, no, but you know, I was with her, you know, during the pre-production process, and she really did her work, you know, advance to prepare. You know, the approach for every scene
and joy, you know, to be able to direct actors. And I was super privileged because I had amazing team supporting me. I had great producers which basically handle everything for me. So for a first time director, usually you have to lift all the heavy weights, you know. I was blessed because it's Adam and another producer, Liz, and
Liz
Jason.
Venezia and Jason Matheson, yeah.
Jason Matheson. They just, you know, made my life easy, and I was just enjoying. So I'm grateful for the universe and people.
And you know what? Yeah, and you know what's funny? You know, Julia's talking about, you know, dreaming about directing since she was 12. It was the opposite for me because I kind of fell into directing in a way. My ambition was always to be an actor. And we've both kind of done it the other way around.
Yeah.
But
I was
you know,
acting first, and then I was like,
yeah, and
Julia
Julia started as an
direct,
actor. And you know, I love this story that, you know, Julia, you know, grew up in Ukraine, where, you know, resources are limited and opportunities are few and far between, especially if you want to, like, the film industry out there in Ukraine. Even
yeah. I mean, it's getting better now.
Yeah, but we're talking when you were 12 years old as well, like you were saying. And Julia wrote a treatment for a music video she wanted to direct for the band Evanescence. And her teacher said to her, "This is really good. You should send this to the band." She's 12. And it's like, can you imagine? Oh, you know.
It was very dramatic, but I didn't even have the internet then. Also, when I was 12, you know, it was like some from the stick. It was very different life.
And do you still have family in Ukraine?
I have a younger brother there and my auntie. The rest of my family, like my parents and my grandparents, have passed away. And I actually dedicated my film to them. I wanted somehow, you know, like to save their memory, you know, so my first film is dedicated to them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's beautiful. And then your relatives that are there, are they okay?
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, it's stressful. It was a very difficult year, I have to say. You know, every time having your phone on and expecting. My brother said, "Oh, we're used to it, like rockets flying above the heads now, you know." So in the city where I'm from, Odessa, it's not so, you know, serious. but yeah, it's terrifying and really upsetting as well, because I love people in Russia and I love people in Ukraine, and it's the same culture. It's upsetting. I hope soon it's gonna change, and peace to everyone. People, I love you. No hate, please. And I also, like media from both sides, Ukraine and Russia, trying to clash people and like create the hatred when there is no need. They both, being directed what to do by the government, people, and go to...
The only difference really is the thing they don't share is a language, and even the language is quite similar, but everything else culturally is
some
the
cities
same, really.
My city is actually Russian speaking.
Yeah,
city.
that's just speaking city
And
anyway.
some people stop speaking Russian in the city, so it's like language doesn't have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
I mean, changing. I'm continuing speaking Russian language.
Yeah, we're all about unity.
Yes.
We're one species, we're one planet. And I think, there's a lot of work we need to do, globally and as a civilization to progress, I think, to advancing ourselves towards being united before we can, really upgrade to the next level as a species.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can people find out about your film?
So our film is screening this evening, 7 o'clock at Harkins 1 Theatre, and also we have another screening on the 24th
Friday.
at 1 p.m. Same theatre, Harkins 1.
Yeah, and stay tuned for more festival news on both of our social medias. We'll shout out any updates when we hear about.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
At Julia Varvara and the Morse Force.
The Morse Force, is that your...
Not bad, right? He is quite a force.
And just right before we go, I just wanted to check on your brother. How's your brother doing?
Oh, thank you for asking. That's sweet. I appreciate that. He's good. He's looking forward to doing some music projects that we have lined up together. And of course, when I'm getting into my next movie as a director,
which we have already.
Which we have lined up. My second.
So we will be
film.
back soon.
Yeah.
We're not gonna let you miss us.
Yeah, and you'll be able to hear more of my brother's music in the next film. We'll find a way to put some of his guitar in the next soundtrack as well.
Awesome.
So yeah.
You're gonna have to bring him next time.
Oh, he would love it. He would love it. Let's see if we can make that.
Yeah, you need to make that happen.
Let's see if we can.
You heard it here.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Okay, we promise now we can.
I know, you have to do it. It's out there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both so much for coming back for round 2.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We hope to be back, as I said, soon again with the next project.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we welcome that. So I know I'll see you around the festival.
Yes.
And don't forget to follow us live on Facebook and hashtag SIFF23 and Sedona Film Fest 23. We'll be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival after this.